So you're telling me you want to sit there and feel bad for yourself, feel guilt, feel shame? Let me know when that has worked for anyone, when all of these negative emotions around your actions or around what you indulged in ever helped you get out of them. Sure, we all have stories that we associate with when we did something that we shouldn't have, and then we are motivated to do better, to be better, based on the shame or the guilt that we felt in those instances or right afterwards. But in the long term, when you're just about to indulge in the thing that you're keeping away from yourself, that never works. And this may be true for anything that you're addicted to. You may be addicted to your phone, you may be addicted to alcohol, you may be addicted to food, you may be addicted to anything in the world. But let me tell you one thing, shame and guilt never work. They never do. And so here's what will work for you. So, the way that you want to deal with addiction is that anything that exists in this world has a cure within itself. It's a self fulfilling answer. So, the cure to that addiction is within that addiction itself. Let me give you an example. I was texting a friend the other day, and he was in his apartment and he was drinking alone. I had talked to him previously, and I just didn't want him to really drink as much anymore because we kind of decided that we would set a few days if he didn't want to quit cold turkey, or he didn't want to quit drinking, he just wanted to limit how much he drank or how many days he drank. And I was like, why are you in your apartment alone, drinking alone? And he was like, I was like, why are you drinking? I thought we talked about this. And he was like, the thing is that I am in my apartment and I'm drinking because if I was not in my apartment, I wouldn't be drinking. If I had people to go out with, I wouldn't be drinking. I need you to identify those triggers for you. I need you to identify that cause, the why for you. Now, it's not as simple as that. It usually isn't that simple, but sometimes it really is. So, if you indulge in binge eating, for example, you need to recognize when it is that you do it, why it is like that you do it, and what else you could be doing that would completely take that out of your mind. Like it wouldn't even be an option. So I'm sure that there are other things that you would rather choose to do other than anything but that. And also, another thing is that you need to de-villainize the act itself. The reason why I'm going so fast is because I know that everyone has like a fried attention span these days. And so I really want to be concrete because this is important info, and not a lot of people get to hear that. And so, if this video found you, I want you to treat this with the utmost importance. And I know that you might think that you're not actively dealing with an addiction, so this is not relevant. But the thing is, all of us are addicted to one thing or the other, and it can get worse. Like, we don't know how our life will pan out, and the things that we depend on, the second that their shade is taken away, we don't know what we could fall into, which is why it's so important to know all of these things. Even if you let it play in the background, I hope that your subconscious mind registers these because this is important. And so, where I was going with that is that we need to de-villainize the importance of these things in our head. So the more that you place something on a pedestal, the more that you're like, oh wow, I wish I could have that, but I won't allow myself to have that. I have so much self-control. You do have self-control, and that is amazing. But the thing is, you don't need to put that thing on a pedestal. It's not that special. Our life is full of so many things. All of them are enjoyable in their own way. And so food is enjoyable, and talking to people could be enjoyable for you, or like watching a movie, reading a book, all of these amazing things. When we tell ourselves that you could do anything, but you cannot do that, our mind is like, no, I want to do that. I need you to stop this internal fight within yourself. You don't need to fight this fight. It's very unnecessary. What you need to be doing is that you need to allocate time for all of these things, and you need to allocate time in with different activities. You need to expose your mind to different sources of dopamine, because at the end of the day, if you truly study addiction from a neuroscience point of view, what you will find is that our brain recognizes these things, these activities, as triggers for a dopamine release. And just like a lab rat or a kid that you put, like, if you give like a kid with a red button and you tell him that each time he presses the button he'll get a candy, he's going to press that button a lot. And so that's how our mind works. Our mind is like a 7-year-old kid. You tell it that this activity gives you dopamine, and so it is going to press that freaking button. What you need to be doing is that you need to give your brain other buttons, other sources of dopamine. You need to diversify your interests, and let me tell you, that would also make you a holistic individual with different varied interests and activities that you find interesting. Now, there comes an interesting point, which is that at this point I'm preaching and I'm telling you to diversify like these dopamine buttons and like engage in all of these things. But you may ask, and if you don't ask, this is something that you will find if you try to practice the strategy. I don't have the motivation. I don't want to do anything but this thing. What do you do then? Do you fight with yourself? Do you fight this urge? Well, here's what I would do. I would acknowledge that feeling, and this is like the most difficult part, because like when you're actively like deep in that shit, deep in that phase of your life, your brain is just so used to getting its dopamine hits from that one object, from that one activity, that it's very hard to find different sources and to attune your brain to different things. When you're in that moment, I'm not going to tell you to do anything. That is between you and you alone. But outside of those moments, I want you to fight the urge to go back to bed. Fight the urge to be lazy or to let life go as it is, because a lot of times what happens is that so for example, if I want to start a workout routine but I know that I always fail, like I feel motivated the first day and then the next day I just give up, and so I don't even start. And this happens like 2 to 3 times, and then I'm like, why should I even start? I always give up the third day. Well, there's actually a benefit. Each time that you start, you're training your muscles and muscles have memory. And so this is also true with your brain. Each time you indulge in another activity, your brain kind of sort of leans into it, and you kind of get used to it a little bit. And it's impossible to leech on to something new and just like completely use that up as your major source of dopamine. But it is possible, and a lot of people, what they do is that each week you need to engage one new activity, one new hobby, one new task that you truly enjoy and that brings you comfort or joy or nostalgia, any of these good feelings. Because, and this is where the loop completes, so that means that this video ends here, but if you truly love these videos, I would love it if you would comment one of your favorite insights from this video, or just the fact that you're struggling, because this is a wholesome community and I would love to engage with you. So do like, comment, and subscribe. And yes, so this is where the videos loop completes. You do not want to give into those negative emotions. You're better than that. You are an amazing human being. A lot of people in this world could not have fought the same battles that you just overcame like that. And so I hope that you recognize your strength. I hope you don't give into these negative emotions that a lot of people try to pin on you, because trust me, the amount of courage that it takes just to exist sometimes, is it's not something that can be put into words, and I'm really proud of you, and you got this.